Hey again guys, and welcome back. Today is time for a kit. It's what, day 7 of quarantine? I don't know. I can't even tell anymore. But yeah, this kit was sent to me by Pileofstuff. It's by a Canadian guy, where you can check out the website, Universal-Solder.ca. And yeah, this thing is just supposed to be like a Uno style, but in the shape of a Pro Mini, sort of. It's a little bit bigger, but it uses a full friggin' chip, so that should be pretty interesting. So I'm going to move this up a little bit closer to me and a little bit closer to you, and we should get this thing soldered and see if we can upload a couple programs to it.
But before all of that, maybe we should check out the website and see if there's any instructions. So here is the website, Universal-Solder.ca. And this is the product. I wish they had a big logo here so I could show you what their website name is, but that's fine. If we go down here, there's documentation, datasheet, and instructions. And this is a wonderful color PDF, very descriptive on pretty much anything we need to know about the kit. So here it is, fully built up, which is very nice. We get to see the resistor values. We get to see the instructions on what goes where and when. And we got a schematic, which is very nice. And we have the operation instructions. So that's pretty cool. The operation instructions specifically say that we have to press and hold the reset button when we're compiling, and as soon as the message changes to uploading, we release the reset button. So good to know. So that's pretty neat. It operates up to 5.5, yeah, 3.8 to 5.5, so we're probably going to use 5 volts. And yeah, this is pretty interesting. Really nice documentation. I really appreciate all the effort that's gone into this kit. It shows that this was designed and made over here instead of in China, because someone put a lot of work into the documentation.
So having picked up what we need to know from the instructions, we come back here and we can start fitting the parts. So the instructions say to start with the resistors, and it makes sense because a socket is actually going to go over the resistors. But I have a problem because the kit was supplied with 3 resistors, and 2 of them use a 4-band color code. Oh, you can't see those. There we go. And one of them have a 3-band. The 3-band here is brown, black, orange, which would be 1 0 and 3 zeros. That's 10K. But the other ones are 4-band with blue, gray, brown. So that would be 6, 8, and 1 0. And then gold for plus minus 5%. So these are 2 680 ohm resistors and a 10K. If I bring my multimeter in here, you'll see that the 10K is more or less 10K. So 9.6K. It's a little off, but still it's a 10K resistor. And then these 680s, just about 680. And the other one, just about almost 680 as well. So I really don't know, but I'm going to install this as supplied. And if I have to do a little bit of black magicery to get this working, then, that's what we'll do. So starting with the 10K, which is R1. Put this guy in here. Now I'm not using my pink solder mat because I had a complaint about it. It was too bright. If you guys want the pink solder mat back, let me know in the comments. I probably will bring it back. I mean, sometimes it's just unavoidable. I don't want to burn this cutting mat. But I'll do efforts for you guys. And one more. These guys have to sit pretty flush, I would assume, to fit well underneath the socket here. I have to say, like, this is a nice kit. Much nicer than what I've designed. But then again, that was my first design. Okay, can solder it up. Now you may say that this solder is way too thick, and I would agree. It's just that the smaller stuff that I have is simply, it doesn't have enough flux inside. So it's very frustrating to use. I may get some paste flux and then dip it in the paste flux. There we go, those are soldered on. Just going to make sure that the socket will still fit. Aside from a couple bent pins there, it'll fit just fine. There we go. Yep, it fits just fine. Perfect. All right. Next is probably the capacitors. Now I have two 100 nano 104s, and I have two 18 pico. Those guys there. So C1 and C4 are the 100 nano. And C4 is there. And C1 over here. There really isn't much room on this board to mark anything down. Okay, and then these two will be for the crystal. 1 and 2. There we go. Next up, going to do the ceramic resonator, or the crystal, I guess. In this case, I don't think it's polarized. Maybe I'll put in the button at the same time. If I can find where it went. The legs on these buttons are slightly offset. They're a little bit further apart this way than they are this way. That's how you know how to set the buttons into the footprints. I guess it'd be a good time to do the socket now. Just got to put the notch up here. If you can see that little notch there, it has to be lined up with the little notch there. It doesn't really matter. These things are not polarized, but what happens is you can't really see the silkscreen after you solder this on, so then the notch in the socket becomes the indicator for where to put the notch in the chip. There we go. I have to say, this kit goes together really well. It's really high quality. It's a bit small, but I appreciate compact designs. It's not very difficult to make your own Arduino, but usually that ends up being on a breadboard. Having it on a little board like this is pretty neat. Might add a little bit of flux to this. I think my flux pen ran out. I think the only thing left is the carrier alcohol, because you can see it evaporates right away. There we go. And for those of you that want a pixel peep the soldering. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it should work. Gonna pop in the LEDs now. Long legs towards the reset button. And I'm not sure if they're different colors. You can see this one is white. See if I can line that up. See how it's yellow on the inside? That's the phosphor. So that's a white LED. And this one, see the yellow inside? Also white. So I think they're both the same. So a long lead towards the reset button. Guess I should put this header in now. And then we're almost done. There we go. Now I suppose the more difficult part is getting these headers in and soldering them in before they fall out. And I can see that they need to be trimmed a bit right here. See if that works. Yep, that works. Same length on the other side. Yep, same length. Right about here. Oh, that one went flying across the room. Alright, pop this in. And I might actually pop this in a breadboard to make it easier. That's kind of the point of this kit. To be able to breadboard your Arduino, which is pretty sick, actually. It's one of the reasons I like the Pro Minis, aside from the fact that they're cheap as well. But it's going to be nice to have something with an Uno bootloader that is breadboard compatible. And even though the footprint is a bit wide, but I mean, there's just really nothing else that compares. I think it'd be interesting if they made a Uno with all the pins on one side and it was kind of like a stand-up thing. That would be really interesting. Maybe I should make one of those. Considering this is not all that difficult to do, and you can get these boards manufactured for really cheap, so that's an idea for the future. Now the question is, how am I going to get the solder in? Well, let's see if I can manage. All right, that looks done. I think I'm going to let you guys pixel peep this one too. How's that looking? Not too bad? So I guess we should see if this thing comes with a blink sketch already in it. So I'll pull the chip out of the packaging, and we should probably line this up properly. You see the notches up on that side, so it'll go this way. Sometimes you need to bend the pins a bit to get it to fit in the socket, but we'll see if we can do it without it. Being gentle here because I don't actually have another dual inline ATmega 328. Just going to give the pins a bit of a squeeze. A bit too much on that one. They do say on the website that you can brick your chip if you put the wrong polarity, so we've got to make sure not to give it the wrong polarity. Let's see. One of the legs doesn't look happy here. Might just need to straighten the pins a little bit. There's actually a tool to do this, but you can usually do it by rolling it on the bench like that. Just make sure all those legs are actually going in. None of them are doing the hokey pokey. That should be good. Alright, so now we just need to connect 5 volts and ground. So I've got the ground here. Ooh, I don't know if my power supply is going to reach all the way up here. So ground is this pin here. There we go. And power, 5 volts, regulated by my little benchtop power supply. So 5 volts, and ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So the power LED seems on. Oh, look at that. Don't know if you can see it because of the brightness here, but if I cover this, look at that. We've got a breathing LED. Well, that's just awesome.
So I guess the last thing to do is to try to upload a sketch to it. Here I just have the basic blink sketch, which I've modified to be a little bit different just to make sure that it's really my sketch that's in there, not some latent memory of some sort. So I just have the default blink sketch, and I modified it so that the LED would turn on for two 250 millisecond bursts with 250 millisecond off time in between, and then a 1 second delay to differentiate the bursts from each other. So just like the instructions say, all we have to do here is hit upload and go press the reset button on the Arduino. Once the sketch says uploading, then we let go of the reset button, and well, there we go. So it looks like it's working just fine. You can see the short bursts in the sketch. So this was a really cool kit, and I have to thank Pileofstuff for sending it to me. I had a lot of fun building it, and I think it's going to be useful. So if you guys want to thank him, just go over to his channel, the link is in the description below, and say thank you on my behalf. If you want your own kit, just make sure to go on Universal-Solder.ca and order your own. This is not a sponsored video. And that's it for today. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.